If the hypothesis is shown to be true, then obviously there are interventions, right? A vaccine, antiviral therapy for the women who are carrying the virus but have not developed a breast cancer, antiviral therapy for those women who have a viral form of breast cancer. As a matter of fact, this is very interesting. Just 4 days ago, a researcher in Toronto published data, and I'm not sure why they did this. You never know why people get these ideas, but they got the idea and they got the money and they got the patients to study, giving cancer patients antiviral therapy. And did you see the paper? Yeah, it's interesting. If you go to my website, I refer to it. And they found that patients who were given antiviral therapy had an improved survival. Cats can become infected with MMTV from the mice and could potentially be an animal reservoir for this. I'm sorry? Begins with an R. Ribavirin, thank you. Thank you, yep. So here is human mammary, mouse mammary tumor virus, right here. I was so compelled after reading this material. I wrote a book about it. I was really alarmed that it hadn't even been mentioned in any of the textbooks. Just the most recent breast cancer textbook has about a 2-sentence statement buried someplace in the textbook that you would never read. If you're interested, you can follow me because I'm keeping very close tabs on all the developments in breast cancer, but particularly the virus, at my website. The fastest way to do this is to follow me on Twitter. Most people use Twitter to let you know that they're drinking a latte, right, on the shores of Lake Michigan. I'm using it to give you really condensed headlines about what's new with breast cancer. For instance, last week, researchers discovered that TOP2A is more predictive than HER2 in predicting response to anthracycline chemotherapy. Well, if 15% to 20% of breast cancer patients are HER2 positive, this is important information. How long do you think it's going to take before the patients find out and the doctors find out and so on and so forth? In the meantime, hundreds of women a day are getting breast cancer who are HER2 positive, and they would benefit from this information. So I'm using Twitter to post this kind of stuff. And then if you're ever interested in what I have to say on Twitter, I expand it on my blog. Now, this is where the story gets very interesting. So I'm reading this literature, and then one thing leads to another, and I'm studying viruses, and I'm writing the book, and I'm thinking about what viruses do, and about retroviruses, and I sort of have this flash, but not the kind of flash that women my age have. It was more like falling off your horse on the way to Damascus. Notice the Y chromosome. Very small. I always thought this was peculiar. I remember, you know, first semester medical school, Y chromosome is very small. And what does the Y chromosome do? But take over the genome for the sole purpose of replicating itself. And so I have this hypothesis that in fact the Y chromosome is a retrovirus, thus making men retroviral mutants. And that explains everything. Okay, silencing breast cancer involves listening in on the conversation, not measuring sizes of things, listening in on the conversation at the level of the genome. Genes convey life. They also convey cancer. We need to identify the genes that are being expressed. We need to understand the conversation. We need to learn how to interrupt the conversation. And I think in particular, we need to understand the role of viruses in causing cancer, and particularly the role of viruses in causing human breast cancer. That is to say, does a virus cause breast cancer in women? Yes or no? And if it's yes, what are we going to do about it, and when? Thank you.